Okay, welcome to the Tuesday show on UltraChenTV. My name is David, aka Ultra David. Okay, welcome. Oh no!
And I am James. Well, at least we know it works that way.
Yeah.
And I'm James Chen, aka jchensor. How's everybody going?
Okay, so big news the last couple of days with E3.
Lots of cool stuff coming out, and it's kind of interesting because a lot of cool stuff for the fighting game community happening too. And yeah, I actually honestly didn't think that would happen because I thought like fighting games were kind of on a downswing, but some interesting fighting game news. So.
There was, and I guess we'll get to everything, but I just would like to talk about my walk through it to kind of get the non-fighting game stuff out of the way. If anybody is interested, we'll just go over that quickly.
Yeah. Oh, just so you guys know, David managed to go.
I went.
I did not go. I have not gone. I've just been catching up on everything via the interwebs. I swear, Twitter's like my gaming news feed.
I feel like you probably know more about a lot of things than I do because when I was in the hall, I didn't really get good reception at all. So like my Twitter feed, updating it was impossible, and like reading it or getting new tweets in it in the feed was like really difficult. So I feel like I didn't get a lot of information that I otherwise would have gotten, but I did have some hands-on stuff. So I got a pass, as you could see. Atlas, as they did last year, supplied this.
Oh yeah,
nice
thing
that's cool, there's like an insert.
Nice. And the advertising Dragon's Crown there, which a lot of people I know are very much hyped for this game, very much looking forward to it. So it is. It's like a hack and slash, kind of in the vein of the old Dungeons and Dragons games. It's Dungeons and Dragons property, I believe.
Oh, really?
Is it official Dungeons and Dragons? I think so. But,
no idea.
Yeah, and they're trying to make it. Is it or no? Okay, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people are looking forward to it.
So I walk in. Even before I get in there, I saw Flo and Mike Ross and Killer Kai walking out. They were going to go eat.
Nice.
So that was the way that I got in there today. Got my badge and then walked into the main hall, which was the big one. I always forget whether it's like west or south or east hall. I always get that confused for some reason. But the biggest one, which is where the game publishers mostly are. The other hall was where the consoles kind of were.
Right. That's the way it usually is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I walked around, like I didn't know most of the things that were going on. You know how I am with video games, more or less. Like I don't really know what's happening.
Right.
But I did see some interesting things. Like there was this giant Destiny thing that was like an IMAX. Like it was ridiculous. It must have been like 20 feet tall. This video screen, 20 feet tall, and maybe like 50 feet wide, and it like wrapped around you. Like it was crazy for the game.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. It was really cool looking.
Nice,
Twitch was there, so I said hello to the Twitch cops real fast. AJ was working there from Level Up, which was pretty cool to see. And then I just kind of ambled around, and I found the arcade that they always bring.
Oh yeah, like where they have all the old school stuff.
It's like a museum technically. They call it the museum. Right.
That was last year where we were hanging out with Sebastian, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, again, PDP was right next door again this year. As they were last year.
Hang on, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
What?
So everyone keeps putting me on blast about the Dungeons & Dragons comment. Kamitani, who had previously worked on Capcom's Dungeons & Dragons games, is one of the people who is making this game, and he's trying to make it like the old Dungeons & Dragons games. Just looked it up right now. That's where my information is. So everybody, I am not crazy. That is exact. I remember hearing something that it had something to do with that Capcom Dungeons & Dragons, So there. Anyways, continue.
In the arcade, I saw Mortal Kombat 2, so I walked over. But then on the other side of that was Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting.
Right.
Turbo Hyper Fighting. And I just couldn't resist. So there was this good Dawson player there. He was like doing all the right anti-airs and stuff. You could tell he knew what was going on. So I sat down and blew him up with Boxer. Well, no, I didn't even blow. It wasn't a blow up. It was close. And then I had a pretty good string against people. A good Vega player came in and beat me, but then I went back in and started rocking with Zangief, and then...
Dude, Zangief's so fun in that game, dude.
You really couldn't do pile drivers with the sticks that they had, unfortunately.
Okay, that sucks.
It was pretty cool. I wasted like a good 45 minutes of my time to see like all the brand new awesome video games on Hyper Fighting, so...
That's awesome.
I finally got kicked off the machine by Madge and Derek Daniels, aka Omni. and
your
Eric.
friend Eric,
Yeah. And then
Eric and Derek both worked on the God of War series.
right, and super long time fighting game players too.
Mm-hmm.
So then I walked over to the PDP booth where there was a Beta Pro going on. I saw Fnatic there, and I saw Chris G. I saw Fnatic lose.
Oh, really?
Yes.
To just
Dude.
In Marvel, huh?
In Marvel, yeah.
Wow.
Okay, but then he went on a pretty good streak after that. And Noel Brown was actually in line.
What?
Yeah.
He was in the Beta Pro line. That's so unfair.
Yeah. Oliver Ling was later in that line too, so Killer Kai.
No, I mean, did they get, like, turned away? Do you know?
No, man. I later saw Noel Brown with an AGE headset, so I assume it worked out. I mean, whatever. The monitors are pretty laggy, I heard.
That's funny.
Anyway, so then I went over to the room that has the actual consoles in it, and I spent a lot of time in the Xbox room. I did try out the Kinect. That technology is amazing. If you haven't looked into it that much, it was really impressive.
I know you've always been like wary about it, right?
I am much more wary than I was before. Like it was.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was impressive technically, and that made it scarier.
So the better it is, the scarier it is.
It like
that makes sense.
Here's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
You can go up to the machine and like with your controller, you can have the video feed kind of move to the side, if that makes sense. You can say like here's you're watching like a flat feed of you essentially.
Right,
You can turn that feed like this,
so
and you can see the side of your face.
What?
Yes, you could see the depth of your nose and like.
Wait. From
it's just looking in front of you. It's just there. So it's not like in the side. It's just they just have some awesome way of doing light beams that. So I went up to this dude who was like doing the whole technical thing, and I was like, "What if I just put a mirror in front of it? What if I just went up there and like, here's a 2D plane. You can't see anything anymore." He's like, "It would still work. Like you could do that scam." If you wanted to, and okay, maybe but there was a whole technical demonstration, and at the part of it where so they got some volunteers at the part of it where they start like sensing your heartbeat and like your facial expressions and stuff. One of the volunteers was like, "I can't do this. I'm off this. I'm leaving."
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You just felt that uncomfortable?
It was a woman. She walked off. Yeah, she was like, "I just can't."
Wow.
Not gonna do this. So, it was scary, but again,
dude, I don't know.
if there were no privacy things involved, if I wasn't worried about that at all, like it would be amazing. It really would be.
Right. It's like crazy because this kind of technology could be used for so many potentially like amazing things.
It really
that
could.
It's being used so that we can play Dance Central 4, right? I mean,
dude, if I was like a professional hockey player or something, you best believe I would like take my Kinect and do some shots and stuff, and like I feel like this is the cheapest way if you're a pro athlete to like watch yourself and like criticize your mechanics.
Dude, can you imagine if someone just made a golf swing program?
Right, exactly right.
Like this is how you do a golf swing.
Like not like a Wii golf thing,
right,
like
right.
A real this is how you play golf swing. Yeah, you really could do that. It's that kind of level. But I am not bringing that spy machine into my house, so it's just not going to be. It's not going to be an issue for me.
I mean, the funny thing is, we've had conversations about this before, where it's just like the potential. Like it can recognize how many people are in your room,
yes.
Right? So if you rent a movie and they could limit it to 4 people, if they detect 5 people.
So I asked about this detection thing, and he said that for most of the limits that they're, he didn't use the word. Limits necessarily, but in any case, 6 people, he said, is like the max for whatever the things you can do. And I was like, does that mean 6 people or 7 people and I can't watch a movie? Is that what that means? He was like, I can't talk about that. So
are you serious?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so you can also use it. So okay, the Xbox One has 3 controllers, little like directional. What are they called? The little analog sticks. These things.
What do you mean by 3? So it's 1,
1, 2,
right.
3.
Oh, it detects your head motion now?
Your whole body. So like when you're playing a game, say you're playing a racing game, you have the controller, and then if you want to turn really tight, you gotta go like this.
So in other words, you can't sit back, lean against the couch, play. You can't lie
That's
down
what I said,
play,
dude.
right?
This dude on stage was like, you know how when people play video games, they go like this, right? And I was like, are you you making an advertisement for a video game in 1994?
No.
Because people don't do that.
He's making an advertisement for video game players on TV shows.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Right?
On TV in the 90s. Like, even, like, nowadays you see that on TV, I think we've gone to a point where, like, you don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I still remember, like, one of my favorite, like, one of my memories of watching Different Strokes. Nobody knows what that show is, but, like, someone was playing an arcade game, and he's just going like this.
Right.
No,
yeah.
no.
Well, maybe now you'll have to. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went over to the PlayStation booth. Everything was super crowded, so I only played the things that weren't crowded. This game, Rain, was remarkable to me, really. It starts out with, like, watercolors, and it's playing Claire de Lune. And, like,
so what system is this for?
PlayStation 4.
And, I mean, what kind of game is it?
It seems like it's like a one-player thing where you kind of, like, it's a 3D world. Basically, the gimmick is, like, you are invisible, and it's raining all the time. So you're chasing things that are, you're being chased by things that are also in the rain, and you can see them when they're in the rain, and they can see you. But if you go out of the rain and like a little under an overhang or something, then they can't see you. So that's like the basic thing.
Dang.
It just like the movement was amazing. Like as you walk around, it'll have like you know how a game will have like information at the bottom of the screen. It'll be like here's some text. In this game, it's like graffiti on the walls that are there. So as you're walking around, the words stay on the wall in the same place. You know what I mean? And so like, I don't know, the whole look and feel and sound of the game was like really.
I'm gonna have to watch a trailer for this now because I haven't seen anything about it yet. So I mean, I've watched trailers
really
for just
cool.
like the obvious big things.
Yeah, and I didn't really get to that because I was it was too long. Tuesdays are always nuts, so I'm gonna go back on Thursday when it's less crowded.
Awesome.
Octodad was like ridiculously funny and fun.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
I didn't know it was until yesterday. That was really cool. Ibn Ob was awesome. Have you seen that? Where so you control two little dudes, and the way that you control them is you don't have the PlayStation, the two analog sticks, and they interact in all really interesting ways. That was cool.
See, this is what I'm hoping for. This is the kind of thing I'm hoping for, that people come back to creative gameplay. Because, you know, when let's be the old man here right now, right? When you played an old game before, you played a game because of the gimmicks in the game, right? I mean, I always bring up the fact that I played a game specifically because you killed monsters with a pup. Dig Dug was like the greatest game ever, right? And then there was Kangaroo in the arcade. You used a freaking kangaroo with a boxing glove and stuff like that. And as games kept going, even in the NES era, you still had these games. You know, what was the gimmick of the game? And I just feel like we're losing that. Recently,
yeah, recently I think you're right, but I really felt this weekend or today that the games that I played were really well thought out and just really interesting game design.
That actually gives me hope. Actually,
it was really cool to see them.
I mean, are a lot of these games like major games that are like disc based, or are some of these like
those were
indie games?
Yeah, those were not disc based.
Okay.
But again, you know, the major stuff I just didn't see because I didn't want to wait for an hour in a line. The lines are crazy, so it's like going to Disneyland.
Right.
So anyway, I didn't get to Nintendo at all because I got there too late, and everything was just crazy long. Those lines were amazing, so I didn't get involved in that.
That's one of the things about E3
But I really want to.
One of the reasons why I don't go that often, because before it wasn't as crowded and you could actually get a chance to touch and play everything. But now it's like anything that you really feel like you want to play, you got to stand in like these ridiculous lines. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it was crazy. I wish that I had been able to see Nintendo because I was like surprised at myself at how interested I was in the Wii U.
Because I remember last year we went to E3 together, and when we were walking around, we were like, "Don't care, don't care, don't care," and we just walked away from everything.
True.
So, but this year it's very different for you then.
A lot of those games look very interesting to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool.
They really do. So then I went to the Mad Catz booth, and that's pretty much where I hung out for the next 2 hours.
Because Mad Catz booth pretty much is the fighting game hangout. It was at PAX East.
Also, hey, I was a Mad Catz exhibitor.
Nice.
Actually, does it not say it? No.
It says exhibits only. It says
exhibits only.
Yeah.
But it was via Mad Catz.
Oh, cool. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mark's
nice.
the best.
Nice. Yeah.
While I was there, I played some Dive Kick.
Nice.
I watched people play Tekken, the Tekken Revolutions.
Yeah.
And I played some Killer Instinct as well. So I did get some hands-on and also watch time. And I talked a lot with the Tekken guys, even though I didn't get to play.
Okay.
I got their thoughts on it. But
right.
I didn't get to play Smash, which sucks. I really wanted to, but the line for it was like just not even. I couldn't consider it. Yeah, it was crazy.
Sure.
So.
But obviously they announced some new character. Well, this is the first time we've even got to see the game. Purely.
Yeah, right. So obviously new Smash coming out for Wii U
to me,
is
though,
what we're talking about.
One thing that's confusing me about this new Smash right now, and do we want to get into this right now, or do we want to take a break real quick and come back and keep talking about it?
That's fine.
Okay, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll.
Was it not playable? I saw there was like a video for it that I assumed was real, but if that's the case, then never mind. But definitely we'll get to the actual games, to Smash Brothers, to Killer Instinct, to Tekken, to Dive Kick.
The consoles.
We'll definitely talk about the destructions that have occurred in console.
Bodied.
The bodying. Yeah, exactly right. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back in a bit. So, talking about the fighting games that were at E3, or I guess have been announced at E3, if Smash wasn't actually playable there. Let's talk about Smash first, because it's a game that, I've seen some media for, but like I said, I wasn't around for most of the day to actually see stuff. To get news, I was just kind of walking around at the actual thing, where ironically you can get less information.
Right.
So what do you know about this thing? Well, what's going on?
The first thing that's really interesting to me is one of the first things that we had heard about Smash Brothers was that it was going to be developed by Namco, and Sakurai was saying he wants to put it in different people's hands or whatever like that. But during the course of today, everything was from Sakurai, and all the videos that showed up, they list little credits at the bottom. And I saw Namco's name nowhere.
Is that so?
I don't know if Namco has been dropped from this. I don't know if people know about if there was any official announcements or anything like that. But I did not see any Namco influence at all in anything. So I don't know what's the situation on that is. But outside of that, they announced 3 new characters. So the character they announced in the main trailer was the villager from Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know much about Animal Crossing, but everybody I know plays it, and everybody
except for me.
Yeah, and me too. So I guess we're the odd.
Why are we
people
talking
out.
about this?
I don't know.
Why are we the ones doing it?
But apparently, everybody I know plays Animal Crossing, and they tell me that I'm a big fool for not actually playing it.
Yeah.
But whatever. In any case, villagers in the game, and then immediately, right away, they announced that Mega Man was included in it.
Right.
And
I saw that, and I was down with that, but I'm interested to see what your reaction is. Mr. owns all Mega Man games and knows the exact order to play through them.
So, I'm surprised I didn't buy a Wii U on the way home before the show. I mean, as soon as I saw Mega Man, as soon as I saw Smash Brothers, I was like, okay, buying a Wii U. There's just no question about it anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I saw Mega... The crazy thing is that the trailer, though, is a little deceptive. It made it look like he had just gobs of weapons. So I almost thought a mechanic of his was going to be that you could select a weapon while you're playing. And, if you did, you'd be standing still and people would be able to kick your ass or something like that. But actually what it turns out is that... Interestingly enough, when you play Smash Brothers, when you have special moves, most character special moves are the same when you're on the ground or when you're in the air.
That's true,
right?
yeah, most.
So most of them they behave almost entirely similarly, right? Or at least it's the same.
It's like some kind of idea.
Right.
Yeah.
But Mega Man is completely different, and all of his moves, well, not all of them, he has some similarities between air and ground, but they change if he's in the air. That's what it seems like to me. Like on the ground,
like it, yeah.
He's not going to have the hard knuckle. But in the air, if you do the down special move, he shoots the hard knuckle down, and that thing was so dude. It's like an automatic spike move. That move Sakurai said it. It's a meteor smash, and dude, that just looks so sick. And I don't know the way they made the graphics, the sound effects, even when he charges the Mega Buster and he fires the Mega Buster is more Mega Man 3 sound effect than it is any of the later ones. Like they really went old school.
That's true.
With it.
Well, they said that it was supposed to be designed like that.
Yeah,
right? That
like
was
the
what
Mega
they were
Man,
going for.
the Mega Man 1, version, and I don't know. I think he looks fantastic.
Me too.
And even like my brother, who doesn't play games at all anymore, like he doesn't play games, he doesn't play video games, whatever. I sent him that trailer. He's like, does this mean I have to buy a Wii U now? Because both of us are just like huge Mega Man fans. So yeah, and it's just sad to me that Capcom can't even put him in their own fighting game.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they can put 40-year-old version of him where somehow he gets fat, even though he's not entirely a person. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess not.
Oh yeah, they're right. Mega Man 4 was the first time he got the charge attack. My bad. So he did not have the Mega Buster charge in Mega Man 3. So
come on, James.
Sorry.
I look to you for all things Mega Man. I know that. I mean, I played the games, but I wasn't like super crazy about them. They were good. But.
My favorite was there was one time Justin texted me. He was like, "Dude, there's this trivia contest. I need your help. What are the 3 Mega Man characters that give you time freezing powers?" And I was like, Flash Man, Bright Man, and Centaur Man. And he was like, thanks.
Centaur Man?
Yeah, Centaur
Alright,
Man.
I guess I didn't play all the games.
But yeah.
They were kind of struggling towards the end of that thing, I feel.
But dude, I'm super hyped about it. I'm just gonna pick up the game. Remember I showed you my OCD that I played every character equally. I may have to make an exception for Mega Man.
Cool, man.
Dude, I'm so
he
hyped
looks
for him,
good too. Like he just has so many options. I can't imagine that a character with that many options and seemingly without like some, like he's not like Pokemon Trainer where like maybe you have options, but it's like they get tired or whatever it was.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have that. At least from what we can tell, he doesn't have that kind of limitation.
It would be really interesting if they gave him weapon energy.
That would be cool.
That would be kind of interesting.
Be kind of crappy, but interesting.
Dude, did you see the stuff that the villager could do? Do you have any idea what he can do in Animal Crossing?
I don't know anything about it even in the slightest.
I tweeted a message about it, and apparently... So in Animal Crossing, you go around, you collect things, and you sell things, right? So apparently the villager in Animal Crossing is a collector. Uh-huh. So one of his special moves is he just collects whatever happens to be in front of him, right? So that counts any projectile.
Right, I saw that.
So if you shoot a projectile at him, he can grab it and then throw it back at you. I thought that was really funny.
It's a cool idea, but those are very rarely effective in fighting games. Like sometimes it happens, but
that's true.
It's pretty rare that's like when he grabbed Samus's big shot. Like that's not. No, nobody's gonna do that. Like from that range, it's just not gonna. So true, it's a cool idea, but. Yeah. He didn't look that great to me. He looks like he has no range. He didn't look fast.
It would have been cool if when he dug the ground, it left little traps for people.
That's what I was hoping for, but it doesn't seem to be the case because every time it's been shown, it's been shown to be like the Donkey Kong thing where you just...
In the walkthrough, there was a developer walkthrough that GameSpot, I think, has. It's probably exclusive to them.
I haven't seen that yet.
And you see Sakurai, he actually digs one way, and then he digs Donkey Kong. And then the way he dug the wrong direction, it didn't do anything.
Okay.
It didn't do anything.
Okay,
so.
all right, yeah, so it's not like an interesting trap idea.
Yeah.
But then that wasn't the only... Those are not the only two characters that were revealed.
Yes, and then the last character, which I was just like... It was so funny, too, because when I first heard it, it's the female Wii Fit trainer.
Yeah.
And when I first heard that, I was like, really? Really? And I was talking about my brother with them, like, what are they going to do? Is she going to, like, warrior pose for the attack? And he's like, yeah, are they going to do tree pose for the up smash? And then we're like, this actually sounds really funny.
I think that is one of the moves,
and
right?
They are. We were 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Warrior pose is the toward smash, tree pose is the up smash. And the more I saw it, the more I could appreciate the humor.
I think it's cool. I think it's hilarious.
It's really funny. It's actually really funny.
It's hard to tell whether she looks good or not because we just didn't see that much.
Dude, I kept joking that you should be able to play her on the balance board. You should be able to, like, stomp really hard and smash attack if you want to do a tilt attack, like lean.
Oh my god, that sounds like it would not work.
Oh, it would be terrible, but it would just be funny if it worked only for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that not everybody is happy about that character because, of course, they could have picked any number of good characters.
Right.
Apparently not just from Nintendo, considering this Smash game and the last one too. So I don't know. They went with this one. I think it's cool. I think it's funny.
Yeah. I mean, the game is always. I mean, like when Game & Watch was announced. I mean, that was kind of silly too, but I loved that as well. So
right. They showed a little bit of some of the other characters, like Bowser, that he's sped up a little bit.
Yeah, they were even noting that he almost kind of has a different stance.
Yeah,
he's like a little taller.
So,
and stuff like that,
apparently it's going to be different to some significant degree, which I definitely support.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm trying to find something. There was this great picture that, I think it was Alucard who tweeted, or somebody who tweeted that... anyways, let's keep talking. I'll see if I can find it here.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's all I really know about Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. It looks fantastic.
Oh, me too, yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, we're both big Smash fans, right? So, I'm hoping that they get rid of tripping.
Yeah.
And it's obviously Final Smashes are there.
Right.
Because you see the Wii Fit trainer do her Final Smash.
Right, and actually I think they showed Samus's too.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So, I'm... Hopefully they get rid of tripping. Because, I mean, the one thing that Namco taking over that had me excited was with their history of fighting games.
Yeah, actually making competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe they might try to make it competitive. And with the resurgence of fighting games, I wonder if Nintendo might think to themselves, we'll be okay with designing the game in such a way that it's perfect for parties, but then you can manipulate all the rules like before. So I'm going to be curious to see how they're going to do it. I mean, obviously the same old options are going to be there, turning off stages and items. You gotta imagine.
I would think so. But yeah, it was weird when Brawl came out and they were explicit about the fact that they didn't want people to compete. Like they didn't want it to be a competitive game.
Right.
At that time,
like Sakurai explicitly said he wasn't gonna do that
for Brawl.
So,
and stripping and that kind of thing. So hopefully that's not there. But again, that's all I know about the game because it wasn't. I didn't get to play it. People say it's not playable there anyway. At E3.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk a little bit about Dive Kick before getting to the other games, just because it's a game that we talked about before. Probably not too much to add to it. I talked with Dave Lang a little bit from Iron Galaxy. He said that they have been, balance tweaking here and there, kind of letting it ride for the most part, not making major changes, just kind of seeing, how it changes organically.
Right.
And in fact, he said that he's changed his thoughts on matchups very considerably. Like matchups that he formerly thought were a counter for one side, he now thinks are counters for the other side.
Oh, really? Oh,
so
that's cool.
Cool. So apparently the matchups have changed a lot in the last few months, organically. But they are making some balance changes too. I got some games in against Ringe, games in against Genesis.
Oh, nice. Was that the first time they had played it, or had they played it before?
Yeah, it was the first day at least. They had been playing there for a little while, they had some time with it. Which means that Genesis doesn't have an excuse for the destruction that I handed him.
That you unleashed upon him.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Nice.
It was horrible. Ringe beat me though because I was derping around. I was picking. Dude, enough. I don't know how Stream is going to be a competitive character.
Does he just feel really bad?
It feels horrible to me.
I wonder if they did that on purpose. I wonder if that was kind of intentional.
I don't know, but he doesn't feel that great. But yeah, not too much news in that game. I didn't see that there were a ton of people walking by and playing it. It seemed like at the time that it was mostly people who were there to play fighting games specifically.
Right.
And, like I said, I got to the Mad Catz booth later in the day, so maybe earlier in the day it was different. I don't know. But certainly everybody who was playing it was having a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
Genesis said the same thing that everybody I've talked with who's played it has said. I didn't think it was going to be that great. When I played it, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, anyways, we don't need to get into that because we do it all the time.
Yeah, right.
The game is so fun, guys. Just give it a shot.
I mean, maybe Stream is good, and I'm just not sure. But I don't know, man. Some of those matchups I played Stream against Genesis's Redacted with the very vertical kicks. I don't know how Stream plays that matchup. That feels like it's a complete blow up to me. But
interesting.
Whatever. I've only played the game a few times, and like Dave said, it changes drastically once you start to really understand things. So.
Yeah. So I just want to show this picture because this is what Alucard tweeted me here.
What's that?
It just says he's been here the whole time, and then they zoom in a little bit more, watching. Learning. He's in the background, sitting there chilling, watching it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that picture and I just started cracking up. So, yeah, so I guess it was fated that he was he was going to show up in the game. So he's been studying. So
that's good.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Okay, so then Tekken.
Right. Okay, so this one's really interesting to me because there's a lot of interest. It's out already.
It is out, yeah.
So you could go download it now, free to play.
Right. I'm sure people have much more information than I can give them.
I watched some videos where Nerd Josh played it a little bit and such. Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's like it's such an interesting concept. Like I don't even care about the mechanics of the game, although there's some very interesting things that are going on in there. I'm just more curious about this whole free to play model that they're setting up here. Because they're doing some very interesting things with it. Like, apparently you can run out of tokens and you can't play it anymore. Or there's no...
Really?
Yeah, there's no local versus mode. There's no training mode.
There's no local versus mode?
Yeah, you could only play versus online.
What?
Mm-hmm. So it's not, like, meant for tournaments.
But I saw people playing in today when they were...
Were they on the same screen, or were they on two separate screens?
It was a head-to-head cab that I assumed it was just a head-to-head cab, but maybe they were playing online.
It could have been online, so...
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. It just sounds kind of interesting, but I don't know. Like, what it seems to me is from what I saw, from what, like, Nerd Josh was like, some people are saying that there's, like, invincible moves and stuff like that. So you can correct me as I keep going, right?
But that is true. I heard that from a bunch of people.
It sounds like they simplified a lot of things in this game.
I also heard that.
Like back rolling is a lot safer, hard to punish that and stuff like that.
Back dashes are shorter. You can still cancel back dashes, but the movement, as you move backward, is just much, much shorter.
Gotcha.
Bound is gone. Mm-hmm. There's no more bound.
Interesting. So are the combos just shorter overall?
Yeah, I would think if there's no bound, yeah. Well, not necessarily shorter, but different kind of combos, less varied, maybe. Right.
I mean, I noticed that a lot of moves have more swish effects to them. Mm-hmm. There's isn't there I don't know if there's a meter for certain moves that'd be more powerful, but it looked kind of like some weird things are going on. But what it looks like to me, honestly, is it looks like they're creating this free-to-play game. And if this is the case, I actually think this is genius. This is brilliant. Is they're creating a simpler Tekken that's free-to-play for people to get into Tekken, understand Tekken, and then when they feel like they're good enough and they want something more,
I can see that.
Tekken Tag 2 already exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then you can learn how to play the game. Now I understand why Electric Wing Godfist is so good. So I want to practice the timing because apparently it happens 100% of the time in Tekken Revolution or something.
Oh, really? You don't have to time it anymore?
I guess it has invincibility on it or something like that. But
that would be a good move.
It just seems really interesting. It seems like a really kind of nifty idea on how to get people from no Tekken knowledge to I get Tekken to now I want more. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a brilliant kind of information thing. So people are saying that I'm wrong on the free electrics. That's what I read somewhere. So I don't know if that's true. Of course, everything is conjecture at this point because it's so hard to tell because it just came out. So
I thought it was the kind of thing where you don't run out of tokens, but where as you play, you get more influence. I mean. More tokens.
Yeah. And it seems like you get it over time as well.
Over time,
yeah. I mean, do you get tokens for winning? Like, if you win more, do you get more tokens?
That would make sense.
Because that would make you saltier if you lost and lost your tokens that way, right? So
if you lose, you lose tokens. If you win, then you get more tokens. All right, thanks.
There you go.
So anyway, I was talking with a couple of the Tekken players. And who were there, and they were playing on stream. But when afterward, I talked with them, and they didn't like it that much. Let me say that. Yeah,
really.
They said that they liked it for the fact that it's trying a new business model, and for the fact that it should be easier to pick up for people who haven't played Tekken.
Okay.
And they liked the fact that it could potentially bring more people into playing Tekken. Mm-hmm. They were down with that. But they just... And one of the reasons was because of the simplified gameplay.
Right.
Even on top of the business model and such, the gameplay, they said, was significantly easier and more Street Fighter-y. They used the term Street Fighter-y. And so they were down with it in that respect. But as far as the game itself, the gameplay, they didn't like it. They said it was a step back, a significant step back for Tekken. So, which totally makes sense to me. If you simplify a game that people really care about, and part of the reason that they care about it is the complexity and the depth of the game, which is certainly a characteristic of Tekken. Then I wouldn't be too happy if I were a Tekken player and this happened to an upcoming game. So I get where they're coming from on that.
But I mean, like I said, it seems like the game is designed for new Tekken players,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's interesting too because Tekken is such a deep game. Not a lot of people play it. It's a very technical, skill-based game, right? And I mean, there was at least one time, maybe a rumor or a dream, that there was an article on some website that talked about maybe simplifying Tekken, a little bit and trying to do something to bring more players in there. And I agreed with a lot of that article, right? And if this article had ever existed in the first place. But I kind of agreed with it. But I think this is a good kind of a balance thing because what it does is it allows for the complex, real game of the high level skill, the technicality to exist, and we have something that can help bridge people to get to that point. Because one of the hardest things is, I mean, if you were following Magus1234 on Twitter, he practically documented his Tekken learning experience and how difficult it was, right? And how he was saying this is like the hardest thing he's ever done, right? And going from no Tekken to jumping into Tekken is really hard. It's one of the hardest things, right? So to have something to help bridge us, I think that's a great idea. And so it's not going to be for the top level Tekken players, but they don't have to like it. That's not. I don't think it's meant for them.
Yeah, I mean, Magus was playing with like Bronson and like Jimmy Tran and stuff. So like, I don't know that his experience is the most representative of what it really takes to start playing Tekken.
Enough.
I don't know that it's really like that, but I certainly get the point that it's a complex game, and one way to help attract more people is to make it easier. But this seems like kind of a weird way to do it to me, to have no local versus mode. Seems like if that's their goal, that seems like a strange way to go about it. And it's not like they're putting out a new game after this game comes out. There's already Tekken Tag 2, so people will have to do research.
Yeah, but I mean the brilliant thing is it's free, so it's just like everyone's going to jump into it, and maybe what they're hoping to do is have it be a jumping off point for people to buy Tekken Tag 2 while they're also spending a little bit of money on Tekken Revolution, getting characters. Because they are doing the League of Legends thing, right, where they're cycling through free-to-play characters week after week?
I think so. That's what I heard. But,
okay.
Again, I didn't get as much information today as a lot of people did. So
okay.
That's what I heard, though. I'm sure we'll find out in like 10 seconds whether that was accurate.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully people play it. I'm going to download it. I'm going to mess with it a little bit, right? I mean, there's no barrier of entry for me. So I think it sounds like... I think it's a great... I mean, I have been arguing that I think a free-to-play model for fighting games is a good idea for a while.
You have been saying that, yeah.
Yeah, so I like seeing this movement. I like seeing people trying to go for this. So we'll see how it goes. So.
Okay. So that's right. Dead or Alive. I totally forgot to mention Dead or Alive as one of the fighting games that were there, because it was Dead or Alive.
Oh, it was actually there, huh?
Yeah,
okay,
it was.
Okay.
DOA is doing character cycling, and Tekken is doing random unlocks through grinding.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks for that that clarification. I didn't go to Dead or Alive, and I didn't know anybody who did. So
yeah, Banana Crone telling us to look up Shen Zuwang, and I've actually watched some matches of it already.
Yeah,
I watched
I have
some of
too.
the matches that Pierrog put up there, and it looks interesting.
Uh-huh.
So. Looks fun. I heard the online play is really good.
That's what I've heard too, yeah.
And it's really cool because they actually have 3 different people versus 3 different people from the videos I saw. So that's actually really cool. So, yeah.
You want to take a break? We'll get to the fourth game, which is Killer Instinct. And that's got an interesting business model of its own.
But don't forget, guys, he's learning.
there.
Yeah, I know. What the heck is it doing? I think that'll work.
Mew.
There it is.
Aha.
Okay.
Excellent. That's why we get paid, whoever suggested that we get paid just a bit ago. That's why we get the big bucks.
Exactly. So to shill out these products.
Yeah, shill.
Obviously, we're positive about every game we
Get
talk
me
about
James
here.
Chen.
Yeah, exactly. No one's looking for me, dude.
Doesn't
Trust
happen.
me. But, I actually argued a long time ago that I thought Killer Instinct was a better fighting game than Virtua Fighter 1. Because they were both out at the time. And I believe so because I thought both of them were completely useless games, and that at least Killer Instinct was fun one player. Boy, did I not know. But yeah, Killer Instinct 1 I thought was not a very good versus game. I didn't think Killer Instinct 2... Because Killer Instinct 1 did not know what block stun was.
Yeah.
And then Killer Instinct 2...
It didn't have any throws either, right?
Yeah, there was no throws in the game. So you had
Were there
overhead
overheads?
Oh yeah, everyone had one overhead.
Okay.
That you did by back and hard punch.
Okay. Jago still has that.
Yeah. And then Killer Instinct 2, they were like, oh, we learned block stun now. But then they kind of frame dated it so that, like, if you did your charge move and you were safe, you recovered just in time, but the opponent had advantage, so he would do his move, and you couldn't beat it, so you had to block that. But then you were put in the exact same position, so the other person could attack you. So it was like you just kind of chipped each other back and forth, and I don't know, it wasn't very strong.
So there's a new one coming out. It's exclusive to Xbox One, and I got a chance to play it for a bit today.
Okay.
I got only a few minutes with it, unfortunately. There were just gigantic lines for the game in the actual Xbox section, so I didn't get to play it there. I did go to the Mad Catz booth where it was available, but they had appointments with actual media to come over and mess around with it. So obviously I couldn't preempt that. So it wasn't until just the last maybe 10 minutes that I got a chance to mess around with it. Okay. A couple of the guys who worked there came up and were very helpful. Nice. The producer, whose name I'm forgetting, Mike.
But he's an old school fighting player.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an old school fighting player. I forgot what his nickname was now.
Something awesome, actually.
It was something Mike. I forgot what it was. That's all we know is Mike.
Right, yeah.
His real name is Mike something, and his nickname was something Mike.
Yeah, we're best.
Good job.
Anyway, but super helpful. He came over. He said he would like us to come over and play it.
Okay.
And help them test it out.
Oh,
it's only pre-alpha. It's not even in an alpha stage. So super early on in development. Probably lots of changes left. The combo system was funky. I mean...
Right. I mean...
So
I know in the original KI, the way it worked is you did a special move that didn't knock down. There was an auto combo afterwards. 2 buttons that they just randomly chose. 1 punch, 1 kick, I think is how it worked. That auto combo. And you had a linker, and then you did another auto combo, and then you had an ender. And that's just kind of how it strung together. There was manuals and all these other alternate ways to do it.
Yeah.
And I was watching a little bit of the Mad Catz stream earlier today, and it sounds like they tried to bring back a lot of that.
Yeah, that's pretty similar. Yeah. So. I mean, it's honestly... Without having all the things written down in front of me, I'm not going to be able to recall all the lingo. Because there was a lot of lingo.
Yeah.
Like doubles and manuals and links and enders and starters or whatever. And I don't know. It was just like...
Ultras.
Tough to get a grasp on in like the 10 minutes that I had to play it. But so basically what I was doing is I played against Flo. Flo had been playing it, so he had an idea of what to do, so I was just watching him. He was using Jago, and I was using Saberwolf.
Okay.
And so I quickly gave up on Saberwolf because I was just like looking at what his Jago was doing, and was like, well, I'll just try that out, see if that's easier. And it totally was. So basically what I would do is just like any button into quarter circle back kick, which is like a little like he sticks his foot out, and you can like do a hit after it, and then you can... like mess around with the buttons or something after it. There's like a series that you can do, and you can like...
What's the biggest combo you got?
Maybe like 20 hits. I didn't do any ultras or whatever. I didn't...
No.
There were EX moves. Anyway, it was just... It's a very combo-centric game. And there is a sense of footsies and spacing involved in it.
Okay.
clearly that's in there. I mean, you can walk around buffering things like Jago low medium kick into whatever. You can do that stuff. You can play a fireball game with Dragon Punch anti-air. The walk speeds are pretty solid.
Okay.
So it does have that mid-range game, but definitely it seemed to me that the focus was the combo engine.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the original games were. They made such a big deal out of the combos, so it feels like the combo engine's got to be there. Which is interesting because the game is based around combos and combo breakers. So while it's a game of crazy combos, one of the main systems is the combo breaker. Like, if you guess wrong with the combo breaker, then you can't combo break for like the next 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
So you just have to guess which button strength they're going to use. If it's a light, you press short jab. If it's a medium, you press strong forward, and if it's a hard, you press fierce roundhouse.
Okay.
That's all. But
I mean, a question that I have to ask is, I mean, I would imagine that when they announced it, you were probably super hyped for this game, right?
I didn't care in the slightest.
Like, Killing Instinct 1, that's where your nickname came from, right?
People really thought that at the start, yeah.
Because you're all about that. I mean,
and then it was Street Fighter 4.
It's like Saber, right? Saber.
But that's real, though.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real. No, mine didn't come from that.
It's yours. Don't lie. Dude.
Are you sure it wasn't from Street Fighter 4 that I got mine? Now there are 2 Ultra systems again. So,
yeah.
But no. What was I gonna say?
So that's too bad.
So it's not.
If you did a show with Combo Fiend, then it would have been Ultra Combo, then, right? Instead of.
Oh, dude! When we've commentated together, people have said.
Oh,
it's
so that's
Ultra
awesome.
Combo,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Okay. Okay.
So it's not just guessing for the combo breaker.
Okay.
You can definitely react to the fierces and roundhouses and just combo break on reaction.
Interesting.
So I don't know how that'll turn out. Whether you just won't be able to use fierces and roundhouses in combos, realistically speaking, in competitive play.
He was saying something like, different speeds, like the quicker ones will do less damage.
Yeah.
So that way you can't break them on reaction, but if you're going for the damage, you can go for the long one. But like you said, then...
If it's reactable, then...
But see, here's the thing then. If everyone goes for the light one, then you always know what to break. So you gotta switch to the medium one, but then if everyone starts using the medium one, because it's right in the middle, and everyone starts to break that... So I think it's going to be kind of like a TAC exchange kind of situation.
I'm telling you, you really can react to the fierces.
Really?
Okay. It was definitely... There's no bones about it.
Okay.
And in fact, I talked with some of the people developing the game afterward, and I kind of brought this up, are you sure that you want to boil this down to just, guessing? Is that interesting? And one of the responses was, actually, it's not entirely guessing. You can react. So I guess whether they're building that in or whether they've recognized that just after the fact, I don't know. But it's clearly something that they're aware of. So.
Right. But I mean, you could tell that the guys who are making the game are fighting game players.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Their lingos are all there.
Oh yeah.
When they were talking about the game, they compared it to Third Strike a lot. Sanchez is not in the chat, right? I'm just trying to troll him right now. But anyway,
I mean, a bunch of people who. I don't know that I should get involved in whoever's working on it, but certainly a lot of people who are fighting game people would know.
Right.
Well-known fighting game players who have been fighting game designers before. This is not necessarily their first rodeo.
Right.
So that's definitely a nice thing to see. I talked with them a little bit about upcoming characters, and they wouldn't tell me what they are, but they would talk a little bit about the archetypes. That grapplers, for example, are going to be in the game.
That's really interesting because I don't think any KI game has had a grappler.
They did not have grapplers. Right. Yeah, exactly. And I asked, will a grappler be able to participate in this combo centric kind of thing? And they said, yeah. Actually, what happens is a grab is just the opener. A grab is your starter or whatever the lingo is, and then you go into the whole blah blah blah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting. And I had the same question for zoning characters.
Okay.
Will there be zoning characters? Yes, the answer is.
Yeah, I remember. I'm on the Mad Cat stream. They were talking about how they're like, it's really interesting trying to put a zoner into this kind of game, So.
But the developers were telling me that that zoning characters too can participate in this whole combo heavy thing, and I said, is that practical in reality? Do they really get that chance? And they said, yep, that'll happen.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, they were kind of shy on details, and certainly no actual character divulged. But yeah, I guess they'll be able to do that part of the game. It's enough of a focus that they're thinking about that.
Right. So one of my initial reactions to the game, very similar reaction that I had to Injustice. Actually, it's like the game looks terrible right now. the characters are really zoomed in. And everything about the game feels like it was designed by, when the first Xbox first came out, and it was just like, look, we have 3D graphic powers and stuff like that. Let's do. I mean, it actually even reminded me of like some old game on there that I remember seeing a combo video from on the Xbox. It was like called something like Tao Fang or something, Way of the Warrior or something like that. But I mean, I just think the game just doesn't look really good. And like every time Jago throws a fireball or whatever like that, dude, please cut down on the particles. I mean, you watch that and like the fireball like hits something, and there are just sparks that just.
Yo, it was like Geometry Wars.
It was like yeah, right. It was Geometry Wars. Like there was one time you did an uppercut, and there were sparks from the top of the screen, and it was like raining. You could see sparks fly right in front of the camera and everywhere. I was just like, dude, okay, I get it. You can do particle effects. Well, let's chill on this a little bit. So.
I think you have to see it in person.
Really?
Because I thought that it looked nice.
Really?
I did. Yeah, I thought that it looked nice. I actually thought that those effects were cool because it's very fitting within the game. It's this crazy game.
Yeah, I mean
that's on. It's purposely a crazy game. So. I mean, look, just when you throw a fireball and it hits somebody, it showers you in fireworks. It's not even like a particular, it's not like at the end of like the Ultra Combo or something. Right. It's just a fireball.
Yeah.
But that's the game. Like, it's a crazy game, and I think that they're doing a good job of making it look like that.
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting because, if I'm giving Guilty Gear Xrd a lot of credit for purposely putting in slightly bad animation to make it look like the old game, I kind of have to give credit to this game then, for making the graphics look the way they do. I mean, when Killer Instinct first came out in the arcades, it was a graphical masterpiece, and they just threw in the kitchen sink for this game, right? So for them to kind of go this exaggerated route with sparks flying everywhere, maybe that is the right way
I thought
to
it was
go,
cool.
So.
And keep in mind, like I said, it's pre-alpha. It's super early.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's not just going to be game, characters and gameplay that they're changing. I'm sure there's going to be graphical stuff too.
Dude, those every time I saw a fireball, like I just kept laughing.
I know, yeah, it was crazy.
As I was watching, I just kept laughing. So yeah. I don't know.
Let's see. The only thing that I would point out as being particularly weird was the air-to-air interactions. People told me to look for this beforehand when I played it. And that is when you are in an air-to-air situation and you knock the opponent down, they fall down. Bam.
Okay.
And they get up, and they can't exactly punish you, that I saw at least, with the two characters that were playable. But the person who hits... If I hit the opponent out of the air, I don't get much for that.
Okay.
I didn't... Unless it's like a ground anti-air. If I do like anti-air jab, and then... You can juggle. There's a juggle system.
Okay.
But if I'm in an air-to-air situation, I didn't see that. And I told one of the developers about that, and he seemed like he didn't know that was the case. Okay. But I told him, heads up.
You don't get any meaties at all or anything like that?
It didn't seem like it.
Wow. So basically, if you go air-to-air and you kick someone out of the air, you're basically...
Your jump arc continues, whatever it is, but the opponent, bam.
Okay, so you're almost like at 0 frames when you land, then, like both.
It's pretty close.
Okay,
it's pretty close. I don't know exactly. So there is that, but look, I know, I'm perfectly aware that this is not a game that's built for me. I'm not a big combos guy. Not like these combos are difficult. They're super easy in terms of execution, but that's the focus. Or that's a major focus.
Right.
And even though I said that there is this neutral game that you play, I feel like it's just kind of it's an interesting neutral game, but then once you get hit, then it's like 20 seconds of guess or react, or like just
right.
So I mean, I know that's not for me, but I also know that a ton of people really like that. So my review of it has got to take that into account. Like I said, I didn't really care about the game when it was announced, but I'm definitely more hopeful for it after having played it. I think it looks better than I thought it did. I think it plays better than I thought it would. So.
Hey, I mean, the interesting thing is, like, we've already seen from NetherRealms, the fighting game community has gotten to a point where the people who are making fighting games know we're there, and they really want to be a part of it now, right? This is what my hope for Smash Brothers was going to be, is that they're going to do that. But NetherRealms obviously answered the bell. Injustice, I think it's a good game, right? I mean, time will tell to see how it lasts, but I really like Injustice right now.
Me
They
too.
cared about the fighting game community.
Me too.
They understood about balance. And if you have these guys who have this history of fighting games in their blood, and were competitive players from a long time ago, you got to imagine that they're going to try to make it work. And, I mean, I don't know, like, I played an early beta of Street Fighter 4, like, long before it came out. And honestly, it was like one of the worst things I'd ever played in my life.
It sucked?
It was terrible. It was awful. Like, the vanilla version of Street Fighter 4 is so good. Like, I could not have pictured that to come out of what I saw. And so, that lesson always gives me the hope that they will be able to get it to a point where it'll work. So,
well, like I said, they're very interested in bringing people from the fighting game community in to help them out. And I know that in some cases those are people who they've hired. Some people there are contractors who have been asked to come in a couple of times, and they asked us to come in as well and help them test it out and give them as much feedback as possible. When I was saying what I just said when I was hanging out there, and I wasn't even talking to anybody who was working on the game, but somebody came over afterward, a very well-known fighting game player who's working on the game, came over afterward, and he said, talk to me about what your issues are.
Okay.
I want to know exactly what you didn't like. What would you like to see? And so we had this little conversation. And so they're very interested in making it work, nice. Which gives me a lot of hope for it.
I'm glad. But, I mean, the one problem is that no one's going to buy this game because no one's going to own an Xbox One, right? I mean, seriously.
I'm not even laughing. I'm deadpan about that. So
no one's gonna. I mean, okay, but before we get into that, let's talk about that they're doing a free to play model as well.
Yes, that's right.
It's not even really a free to play model. It's just a demo was free, and then Jago, you could do everything with the game, and then you have to buy more characters if you want to play them. There's not going to be any cycle rotation. It sounds like of any free characters or anything like that.
Yeah,
right?
But you can also just straight up buy the whole game if you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're saying like there's going to be different packages and stuff like that. That's actually kind of cool to me. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm starting to think right now that the proper consumer model that people need to be going towards right now is a Kickstarter model. Like, if you're going to release something, release the product, and then release a better version of it that you get special benefits for a higher price and do stuff. So allow people to pay what they want to get out of the game. I mean, look how successful Kickstarter has been. It's because there are people out there with a lot of money who are willing to put a bunch of money in there, right? Yeah. Like, oh, here's $2,000, boom. Like, Mike Watson told me, like, when they were, like, someone was telling me, like, when they had a donation drive, someone, like, donated, like, $2,000 and stuff like that, right? Oh. So some people are willing to do these kind of things, right? So maybe that's just the way to go for a lot of these things. Offer very good benefits for higher prices, and if people are willing to spend it, that they'll do it, So.
Yeah, initially I didn't like the idea of... I think it was how they phrased it that I didn't like at the start. Mm-hmm. Just the idea of having to pay to unlock a character and nothing else is free, and it was the way that it was phrased, I think. Right. And I just didn't think it through, to be perfectly honest. It is an Xbox, not liking it. And it
is an Xbox Live Arcade game, so it's already digital only.
It's all digital, yeah. But now I think I'm cool with it. Like, if that's what they want to go for, if you would like to only play Jago, you're set. If you'd like to play Jago and one more character, it'll cost you whatever the one character costs, right. Which is much, much less, of course, than the full game. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you were to buy a new Street Fighter or something, you're shelling out $60. You're just, unless you don't want to play it at all. So there's no price tiers. That's fine with me. I do think that they're missing an opportunity. I think that the League of Legends style free rotation is just such a smart idea business-wise, that I'm surprised that a company who is thinking about free-to-play models didn't end up going with that.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, I played League of Legends a little bit, right? And I played one character that I really liked when she was free, and then she's not free anymore. And, if I jump back into it, I probably will... It was Caitlyn. I really liked Caitlyn. Because I died less often with her. Because she gets away well. But, like, I probably would purchase her next time I go back in there. I might have enough in-game points to get her straight up, but she's one of the more expensive characters right now. Like, I could use my in-game points right now and buy, like, 10 of the cheaper characters, but I'd probably just spend it on her anyway, so, yeah.
Yeah, alright. Well, you want to take a break, and when we get back, we'll talk about PlayStation 4 and other consoles too?
Yeah, sure, no problem. We'll be right back.
So, this E3 is a little bit unusual in that it's not just games being announced. Every so often we get an E3 where consoles are announced too.
Yep.
This happens to be one of those years because upcoming are Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Wii U's already out, but they're like... they like recalled some of them and they're gonna...
So. They're probably gonna retweak it or something like that.
They're like getting rid of the weakest model. But in any case, that's already out. So it's really between Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in a lot of people's minds. And then there was this day of press conferences. It wasn't just that. I mean, there was already you have to view yesterday's press conferences in the context of we had already known or had rumors of a lot of the things that the Xbox One was going to do. Right? I mean, we knew what the Kinect was like and how it's NSA's wet dream. We knew that even though it's very powerful technology, that tech is scary from a privacy perspective. And we knew, or I forget now, maybe it had been rumors. Because they already had their press conference well before that about how the used game situation is.
And they even had to react to it by releasing web pages that were describing how used games were going to work and stuff like that.
Right. So there was that. There's the fact that it has to be online and check itself online once every 24 hours. It's just and even on top of that, it's only going to be available in certain countries that they've been able to make deals with, or not deals, I guess, but they're able to work in those countries in terms of laws and various agreements that they have to make. So a lot of countries, the list was not even that big of countries that it works with, okay? Like, it was most of the countries that you might expect if you're going to think of, like, which countries play video games, but there's a lot of them that people play games in that they just can't do it. Like, it's literally not an option to you to play Xbox One, so
Yakko Werner should do a countries that you can play Xbox One in song, and it'll last, like, 3 seconds.
Yeah. So, anyway, then there was this day yesterday where they actually had their press conferences. Xbox in the start of the day, 9 a.m., later on in Pacific time, and then I believe at 6 was PlayStation 4. And how'd that go, James? How'd those two press conferences go?
Pretty much after the PlayStation conference, all I could think of was just like Honda Camry and ST, dude. 10-0 matchup. I just felt like PlayStation just destroyed them. I mean, they reacted the way that I kept saying someone should react.
Yeah.
Which is take all the negative press that's going for Microsoft and spin it in a positive way for you. And I'm sure almost everybody has seen that commercial. It's
starting to get a little old even. It's hilarious.
How to share games on your PS4, which is, I mean, the first time I saw that, I was just like, yo, damn, like, oh my god.
90th time was maybe a little too many, but I mean, it's being shown so many times because it's so 100% right.
Yeah, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And the fact that they went there. Like, you wouldn't have thought that they would go there, but they did, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing. And, I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I kept saying that this was a perfect opportunity for Nintendo, too. Because here's the honest truth, right? Microsoft and Sony are both multimedia companies. They make things more than game consoles, right? So they're interested in taking over your living room, right? Nintendo could have had this really big opportunity being like, hey, look, we're a game company. All we make are games. All we care about are games. We don't want to take over your living room. Here is this product here where you can play games, do everything games. We're going to concentrate on games and stuff like that. And I feel like they missed that opportunity. And that's why it was so amazing for me that PlayStation were the people who did not skip on this opportunity. And just, the shit eating grin that what is it, Trenton or whoever it was
Trenton,
had
yeah.
at the end, you know, where he was just like, we have no DRM, we have, you know, we're $3.99, and just the way that he just said all that stuff, you know, I thought it was the perfect thing to do at the time. It was absolutely the perfect thing to do. So.
If anybody is a professional actor and is interested in having a role in which you have to portray somebody who is very confident and is just like shit-eatingly confident, they have this smile that's just like, ugh. I suggest that you watch the performance that Trenton put on in the PlayStation 4.
No performance there.
No.
That was true, genuine glee.
Yeah.
That was glee if there ever was glee.
Yes. So with the Xbox, I thought that The Division looked pretty sick, that game that they showed towards the end. I feel like that game was pretty sick looking, but I'll never play it in my life unless one of my friends has an Xbox One and also covers that Xbox One with like a mirror and like covers up the audio ports or something, or just like puts it in the other room through a very long connection.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not gonna buy that.
But the thing is, nobody said that game was going to be console exclusive, right? See,
it's multi-platform. Yeah.
Right.
What was I thinking of? That was exclusive. I guess it's just KI. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I totally mixed them up. Division is multi-platform. That's right.
See, that's the thing that makes me mad. Nintendo is the only company that will have legitimate console exclusives on their console because they make games. Microsoft doesn't really make games. I mean, like, you could say Halo, but what? They get Bungie to make that, right? And then, like, Nintendo actually makes Nintendo games.
Right.
And so I just feel like Nintendo missed such a huge opportunity at this point, really to kind of leapfrog themselves back into the game. I don't know.
You know, I was really impressed by the Wii U.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, okay.
But that's because I'm a Nintendo fan, and I love everything that they showed. I was just like, new Mario Kart?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, it was the same for me.
Upside down?
I know, dude. They're going upside down. It was awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, everybody likes that stuff. Like, who doesn't like Mario and Mario Kart, like, and Smash Bros. And like, how do you play video games and not like that stuff?
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of stupid in that they have to keep going back to the well on the same franchises. That's annoying. But it wasn't just that. I mean, they had whatever they call indie developers. They called it like something else that they're down with. So they had. I was impressed by that. I feel like the major reason that I was impressed by it was that I just have this enmity for Xbox One, and like I'm willing to forgive whatever it is.
So if the Ouya came out with a press conference today, you'd be like, "This is the best thing ever," right?
Maybe I'd buy the new Mad Catz Android console.
That's
right. I didn't really. I mean, I'm not a big Bayonetta guy. I know a lot of people are stoked for that coming out there, exclusive to the Wii U.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was the business side of things with respect to PlayStation versus Xbox. It was the games. The games themselves. The indie section was. I mean, I talked about it earlier today. Like, some of the games that I saw were just awesome. I really enjoyed them.
Right.
And I don't even play games that often anymore. But when I was playing Rain, I mean, it was really a good emotional game that played well. Like, and that was just a couple of the games. Like, there were all these games, and I played the ones that didn't have lines. So on Thursday, I'm going to play the ones that do have lines.
Nice.
You know, so.
Dude, well, here's the funny thing, though. I mean, I keep talking about the Wii U. Obviously, I'm a big Nintendo fanboy, so I want to see them succeed, even though I don't even own a Wii U. Like, that's how bad the Wii U is right now.
I don't own one. Yeah.
Is that I am the biggest Nintendo fanboy, and I do not own one, right? And I had never intended on getting one until Smash Brothers and Mega Man. Now it's a foregone conclusion that I will own one. But, you know, I mean, I was trying to get to, what was it? I was going to bring, oh, that's right. I was saying, like, the nice thing about it now is that the graphics, I feel like, have caught up a little bit more, right? Like, the problem with the Wii was the graphics weren't very good, right? And so I kept telling myself that I don't feel like the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 graphic jump is as significant, you know, in this generation.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But you know what? Then I saw the Phantom Pain trailer, Metal Gear 5. And I don't know if you've seen that yet.
I did.
That game looks fantastic. Like, the horse, like, at the beginning when he's riding the horse, that's ridiculous.
It looks good.
like the people. I mean, I don't know. Like that's like the first thing that I've seen on any of the other consoles where I was just like, holy crap, graphics, okay. Because, I don't know, like, I'm super hyped for this game now. I'm still sad that David Hayter is not doing the voice. As much as I love Jack Bauer, as much as I love Kiefer Sutherland, it just sounds like Jack Bauer's talking all the time to me, which is a little frustrating now. So I just expect him to see, like, we need to fight the Metal Gear now, you know? Chloe, get me the data, you know? And it's just, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I wish Hayter was still doing the voice. I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, my God, that game looked amazing.
It does look good.
That game looks just, it blew my mind. It blew my mind that it looked that real to me. So,
like, here's the level of distaste that I have for the Xbox One. In the PlayStation 4 press conference when Assassin's Creed was going on, and it was lagging, and it was like characters were blinking weirdly, and like, it was clearly glitching out. It was just not ready to be played. Normal me, under normal circumstances where I'm not a fanboy of either console,
right.
I rip on that. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they did this. I'm like on Twitter.
You're ripping on what people wear, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm a total asshole. But for that, I was like, well, it's nice that at least they're actually showing the gameplay of the game. You know, I respect that they're, you know, it's not perfect, but, you know, they're willing to put it out there. You gotta give them props for that. Like, that's... I haven't been a console fanboy. I haven't had a dog in a race since Nintendo versus Sega.
Right.
Like, that was the last time I cared, but I guess now...
Back in Super Nintendo Genesis days.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Dude, yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, going back to the consoles, I can't picture any scenario where the Xbox is not done. Like, even if they just were like, tomorrow, just to be like, okay, we're sorry, guys. We're taking away all the DRM. We're lowering the price to $3.99. If they came back and did all that stuff tomorrow, I feel like it's too little too late. Everyone would be like, see, you guys should have just admitted you messed up a long time ago. You were so insistent on it. Now that you guys, now that you're in trouble, you're changing, you know, and dude, because honestly, that's what it feels like. I feel like they are in a ton of trouble.
You know, I've read reports that they have that pre-orders of Xboxes have sold out in lots of places. Xbox Ones. So I feel a certain way about it. You do. Almost all of my friends do. I'm not sure that we represent what they're going for. Yeah, I'm not sure that we're like the demographic that they're going for.
Dude,
so
then they had that one. Okay, so obviously you need to check in every 24 hours, otherwise you lose the license on the game, right? I'm waiting for the first moment that something screws up and everybody loses a license, like it gets reset on the servers or something, or when they come out with a game and let's just say like there's a glitch or something offensive in it, and then they just revoke the license for everybody so no one can play it until they fix it. Like, that seems like a totally realistic scenario to me. Like, all of a sudden you just can't play the game because they're trying to fix it or something like that, and then the only way you could play it is if you know, once they fix it, then you come back and then download a patch or something like that, right? And so the whole online thing is weird to me. And then, of course, you know, earlier today they had that comment, you know, there was an article talking about it, and I think it was Matrick, I guess he's a high-up person in Xbox and Microsoft, and he says, he literally the quote that they have from him is, "Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called the 360. And then he goes on to say, if you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device. And honestly, I think that is the most arrogant, like, horrible thing that you could possibly say.
Yeah, what a douche.
Like, they are just losing favor with me so tremendously, so fast. And keep in mind that this previous generation, I was 360 over PS3 the entire time.
Me too. I didn't buy a PS until PlayStation All-Stars.
Right.
That's when I bought my PlayStation, like 6 months ago.
Like, every time I had a choice for one console, it was always 360. Always 360. I barely bought anything for my PS3.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, okay, here we go, PS4. So, yep.
Man, that's crazy that they would actually say that, but it's totally in line with the console, with what they are explicitly doing. So, as far as from a fighting game and tournament perspective, the Xbox, I just got to imagine, will be really tough to have tournaments for. It has to be connected to the internet every so often. It's tough to have internet at venues anyway.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the venue internet is only enough to support the stream, and sometimes it's barely enough to do that. So if you have to also have each and every console hooked up to the internet, I mean, you're talking about a lot of extra costs for tournament organizers. They have to pay for a lot more in terms of bandwidth. Maybe some of the places where they've been going to tournaments, to venues, can't support that. They have to buy a lot more in the way of Ethernet cords or Wi-Fi connectors or whatever that Xbox is going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff, and it's difficult to see how that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair though. This is not a complete story yet. This is not the end of the story yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure this concern is going to get brought up to Microsoft. I'm sure somebody up there...
Well, not the tournament concern, but the general...
Well, yeah, general concern, and maybe the tournament concern, right?
I don't think so.
I mean, apparently some people have talked to him about it, and maybe they're thinking about it, especially if they're going to bank on Killer Instinct.
Oh, maybe with KI.
You know, I mean, it'll be a concern if the KI, if Rare goes up to them and is, oh wait, but it's not even Rare developing, it's Double Helix developing it, right? So if they go up to them and say, hey, to be tournament viable, we need this situation. So maybe they'll come up with a solution for it, but I don't know. I don't know.
What did this dude say?
Which one?
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360. If that dude is still involved in the company, I'm not terribly.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen.
It's just it's not looking good for them. It is just honest, like.
And let me also say this: I heard some people who run streams talking about the 360 and what the Xbox One and what it takes to stream off that thing, and they were talking about how they had to like dig into the actual console, like open it up and like do some things, and like somebody brought over like a metallic box that they had to like hook up to it, and like then they had to like route it through there, and it was like there all these things to actually stream through it. Now, of course, there is native streaming through it, right? You can stream on Twitch, but if you want to
overlays,
if you want to put overlays on and stuff, I mean, it's hard to see how that'll be viable in tournaments. I mean, that's a hardware issue. It's not like that's a business model thing. Like that's hard to get around. And look, I mean, we stream off PlayStation 3 now, and that's a little tougher than 360. So maybe that can be addressed, but it's still just like this extra jump after all the BS that you have to deal with.
Right. And on top of everything, the dang console's name is Xbox One. I hate that name.
Oh, the name is very stupid.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when the Wii came out, that was a stupid name, right?
Also stupid.
GameCube, stupid name. Dreamcast, stupid name.
I mean, those are fine. Like,
I
it's
mean,
not like objectionable.
The worst thing about Xbox One is I don't even know what to call the original Xbox anymore. I used to call it the Xbox One because we used to call it the PlayStation 1, right? And I don't even know what, like, it's the original I have to say original Xbox instead of Xbox One. Like, I just think that's the worst name they possibly could have came up with.
Vanilla Xbox.
Oh, God. I'm going to call the Vanilla Xbox. Oh, man.
Xbone.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I called it Xbox. The thing is, I made the joke called...
Xbox Huge. I like that, actually.
Yeah, I actually typed in the Twitter Xbox One, now Xbox -1 on Twitter. And someone told me it was a bad pun or whatever like that. But then someone was like, is that you, Arnie? And I was like, oh, you got the reference. And it's a reference to the Running Man. Where he says, Sub-Zero, now Plane Zero. And so that's what I was... I couldn't believe someone got it. It was so distant, but someone got it. And I just thought that was fantastic. So
at least something good came out of this console. All right.
Exactly. But yeah, seriously...
You know, I saw the PlayStation... Well, obviously, I went to E3. I saw the PlayStation 4... It's smaller than I thought it was.
Oh, is it?
Really is.
Because the picture makes it look like it's gigantic.
It's not at all gigantic. Okay. Not at all. It's,
but what about the...
It's thin. I mean, the one looks like what I expect a console to look like.
Okay.
It's not like that monstrosity. What is it? PS3 over there?
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that thing. That thing
PS3,
is... The first PS3 is a monster. It's not like that. But it's not that much smaller. So, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter that much to me what it looks like. It's just... I find it funny that it's not just games and it's not just business model. It's like on the small things. It's like at the margins even that the PlayStation 4 looks that it looks better than the one.
Right.
Isn't that weird? Right. It's like at all possible angles, they're just blowing up the competition. Like,
I will also say that Kara had the tweet of the day yesterday, but she was like, "People, learn your shapes. It's not a rhombus, it's a parallelogram." Because everyone kept calling the PlayStation 4 a rhombus, and it's actually a parallelogram.
Rhombus. Yeah.
Yeah, rhombus is like that with the two inward parallelograms.
Isn't that a trapezoid?
Is it? Oh, jeez. Now I'm getting all messed up.
Trapezoid. Yeah, that's trapezoid.
Oh, okay. So what's a rhombus exactly?
Rhombus. Definitely a rhombus.
It is a rhombus. So what's a parallelogram?
A parallelogram. A rhombus is a parallelogram.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Well, then I guess Kara was...
lawyers. We know everything about math. Yeah.
Hey, man.
I didn't even have to take math in college. It's been since high school that I haven't...
I am a math major, and apparently
Did you really?
Forgot everything.
I thought you were a computer...
With the specialization in computer science. So, yeah, so apparently I've forgotten
Well.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I'm the best.
Yeah. So, yeah. Enough of our geometry wars here. Let's continue.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure what else to say about it. It just was a total blow up on one side. So I will say this, that AJ from Level Up and I had a little conversation about, which console we think will be the tournament standard for upcoming fighting game events. And I said, first off, that we're probably not going to get involved in new consoles for a while. Killer Instinct aside, there's a lot of games that have just recently come out for 360 and for PS3 that we're going to be playing for a long time.
Oh yeah, they also announced, that's right, another fighting game, Chrono Phantasm, Blaze Blue.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Chrono
we
Phantasm's coming out in 2014, so that was what it was announced. So it's unfortunate it's coming out. Still haven't heard anything about Guilty Gear Plus R. Please tell me when that game is coming out. I need to know when that game is. That was like the one thing I wanted to hear from E3. That was like the number one thing, and I still have not heard it yet.
Yeah.
When is it coming out? So, and I also heard that the new Blaze Blue is up to like 23 characters or something like that now. It's crazy how many characters are in that game now. So I'd be curious to see if it can get a resurgence.
It's like half as many as Capcom games now.
I know, right?
But so AJ said that he wasn't sure which one would be tournament standard. And I said, don't you think it's extremely super omega obvious? And he said, no, he doesn't think so. That we got to wait and see which games end up coming out ultimately, if they do, for whether for One or PS4. He mentioned the fact that Killer Instinct is only on Xbox One, and if all else is equal, then maybe we want to play on the console that has the additional game. That made some sense to me.
Interesting.
But just, I feel like other than that, there are so many things going in the PlayStation 4's way. I mean, I can't imagine that it's going to be
here's the main
anything but PlayStation 4.
If what we've been seeing on the internet comes true and everyone buys a PS4, not a 360, everyone's also going to buy a PS3 controller joystick. And if everybody has a PlayStation 3 controller and you run a tournament on the Xbox One, you're going to have a lot of very angry people.
A PS4 controller.
Yeah, PS4 controller. You're going to have a lot of very angry people. So, I think you kind of have to in that case. Because we're all going to buy new joysticks. This generation, we kind of sucked up joysticks like crazy, right? I need to ask Mark if they're back. I know you can't use the controllers on the new consoles, but can you use the new controllers on the old consoles?
I don't know.
That I would like to find out. Because if they could somehow work it so that works out, that would be really cool. And but yeah, I mean, we're all going to have to grab new joysticks. So I think it's going to sting a little for some fighting game fans, So I'm curious to see how it's going to go.
Me too. Well, anything else that you want to mention?
No, I mean, we should probably stop because I know we're running into Show That Sucks time.
Yeah.
So, again, that's on twitch.tv/IPlayWinner with Hanzo Gonzo and Harrison SBA.
I know they're going to be talking about E3 too.
Yeah, so definitely tune into that. Is there anything that you want to add or...
No, I'm going to go back on Thursday. I hope to have a little bit shorter lines in the games that I didn't get a chance to play today. And I'll end up tweeting, I'm sure, about what I think about those. But
yeah. And if the Double Helix guys are listening or whatever like that, we're totally down to come and play.
yeah,
I mean, I'm just warning you right now, every fighting game beta I've ever played, I've had nothing but criticisms. Very, very harsh criticisms.
Yeah.
So, just ask anybody else who's let me beta their game. So
that's true.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's it. Anyway, go check out twitch.tv/iplaywinner for the show that sucks. But we're done for tonight. See you next time.
All right. Peace out, everybody.